Hi there everybody, this is David, and it shouldn't be any kind of secret that I love the original Granblue Fantasy Relink that came out a couple of years ago. This is a super fun, beautiful action RPG that kind of like takes place amongst the clouds, and it's like ethereal sky islands. You go out, you embark on quests and search the mythical land of Lucia, as well as, of course, saving the world along the way. But now a large-scale expansion, as well as like a major evolution that builds upon that base game, is being released, called Granblue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok. And it is today's sponsor, and I do want to tell you everything that you need to know about the game, and I definitely do think it's worth a sub as you come and join our party and level on up with me. Thank you so much for your sub, your like, and your brand new hype. It helps me out a ton. Also, I even have a giveaway for my subscribers too, so do stay tuned to see how you can win a special edition of the game over on Steam. And with that, let's go ahead and dive right on in to everything that this has to offer. So I do want to make one thing perfectly clear. Endless Ragnarok is essentially a massive expansion to the original game. And if you do already own the original, you'll be able to upgrade to Endless Ragnarok via a paid upgrade kit and also bring over your existing save data from the vanilla game. But if you never did play the original game, you can also buy Endless Ragnarok on its own, physically as well as digitally, which is great. So it's not just like forcing you to double dip and rebuy a whole new game just to experience this brand new story, as well as all the other additions that come along with it. You can almost think of this as how like Monster Hunter adds content to their base game, or how Bandai Namco handled Tales of the Arise Beyond the Dawn. It's sort of the same thing here, so if you have the original, you can upgrade and continue your journey. If you don't, you can pretty much just go ahead and get everything in one nice neat little package just by purchasing this definitive Endless Ragnarok version. And also, I do think that this is very important. While I do know that Granblue Fantasy is a very big franchise, going on for many years, complete with an anime as well as a mobile game, I've never watched that anime or played the mobile game. My only experience with this franchise was by playing the original console game. And all that being said, my lack of knowledge did not once hinder my enjoyment of this game in any way. The game does a great job of giving you bits and pieces of backstory of the characters so that you do know what's going on. You play as the captain of a sky-faring crew traveling across the floating islands in the Sky Realm, still chasing after the mysterious island of Lucia, and still dealing with the remnants of the Church of Avia. However, now, this brand new quest will lead you towards the forgotten corner of the skies, the Zega Grande Skydom. Because although the Astrolith's plans were put to rest, that didn't exactly heal the world, overnight. People are still trying to live and survive in this brave new world. And while the church is gone, and the big conflicts are technically over that plagued you the first time around, instead now, something else is starting to surface underneath all of that. New threats, more unstable regions, as well as enemies that don't quite fit the rules of what you were dealing with before. It's not like a clean continuation, it's more like the world itself is starting to unravel again, but this time, it's a whole lot worse than it was before. Okay, so now let's get into the gameplay. At its heart, it's still the same thing that it was before, but there has been some noticeable additions. You still control the 4-person party, and of course, each of them play completely differently from one another, with each of them having their own innate elemental, as well as skills which work on a cooldown timer instead of MP. And while you're waiting for those skills to cool down, you can always deal out normal attacks with the square button, as well as more powerful attacks with the triangle button. You can also jump with the X button, not to mention, you have the ability to roll, dodge, and guard. Pretty standard stuff for an action RPG. But what really makes this combat system stand out is the link system. Whenever you're attacking enemies, you build up a gauge, and once that fills up, your entire team can unleash a coordinated link attack. And if you chain together everybody's Skybound arts, you'll get a full chain burst for massive damage. But now, in the new Zega Grande Sky Kingdom, there are apocalyptic tiered enemies called Ragnalia. And they're not just like higher HP versions of existing bosses, they are brand new threats shrouded in mystery, so hopefully you'll be up to the task to take them out. Even Beelzebub of Granblue Fantasy vs. Infamy will descend upon you, providing yet another insane challenge for you to overcome. And speaking of challenges,
the Crew Alliance for Fall have teamed up with the Eternals to offer Chaos tier quests, which are some of the most difficult missions in the game. But if you do master them, you'll gain new ways to power up your characters as well as get better gear. There are also new progression systems, including master traits, that let you break previous level caps and push your builds even further. Also, Lyria decides to join up with you to help out, which is great, because during your journeys with her powers, you'll be able to find, unlock, and equip summons, and you can even call them onto the battlefield and control them temporarily. Kind of like how you control them in the newer Final Fantasy VII remakes. Now, that's not to say that all the summons are just offensive. Some will give you stat boosts and combat advantages, and some will even automatically trigger if your party pulls off a Primal Burst, which is kind of like an upgraded Chain Burst from the first game.
Now, just like the original game, this offers 4-player online co-op, but now with full crossplay across the Switch 2, PC, and PlayStation ecosystems, so that everyone can play together regardless of the platform. Not only that, if you're playing the Switch 2 version, you can also use wireless local play for up to 4 different systems, which is just awesome. And that's what I did during the beta test that was just a couple of weeks ago, and man, that was a whole lot of fun. And I've just got to say that I was really impressed with how it felt on the Switch 2, specifically because action RPGs like this, they can live or die based upon your responsiveness and the performance. But I even played it on the handheld mode, and it felt really smooth, even during some of the more chaotic boss fights with effects exploding all over the screen and all that kind of stuff too, so no problems there at all.
However, for those of you who prefer to, fly solo, there's an all-new single-player mode called the Conflicts, which is essentially like a roguelike style dungeon with randomized buffs, escalating difficulty, and repeatable runs for loot and upgrades inside the dungeon. And the deeper that you go, the stronger that you'll get thanks to the randomized buffs and escalating challenges, giving you a ton of replayability even outside the co-op mode. Then there's even new crew members. I mean, the original game already had plenty with over 20 different playable characters, but now they've added 4 more to tinker around with and learn. And yeah, if history is anything to go by, they're all going to be ridiculously cool. And ridiculously hot too. Let's be honest. And I've just got to say this. If you've never played the game before and you want to jump into Relink for the very first time with Endless Ragnarok, my biggest recommendation is to just not overthink the systems early on. Find a character and pick one that feels cool to you and stick with them for a while, because every single character plays completely differently. Some of them are fast, combo-heavy glass cannons. Some are tanks. Some are ranged fighters, and some are basically just mages and spellcasters. So play around with a bunch of them, figure out who you like, and once you find one that clicks, the whole game will start to open up naturally. I'd also say, don't ignore upgrading your weapons and your sigils, because really diving into that and getting rewarded by taking on the harder bosses to build stronger gear is really where I had the most fun, and it was just a blast. And also, if you're not amazing at action games or anything else like that, there is no shame at all in using the assist mode. That's what it's there for. Use it to get the hang of things. It does a really good job helping you enjoy the story as well as the spectacle without really getting completely destroyed by some giant screen-filling attack and boss. So if you're as excited about this as I am, be sure to check it on out using the link below. And whether you're upgrading from the original or jumping in for the first time, this here is shaping up to be a massive evolution of Granblue Fantasy Relink. And if you want to stay up to date on everything, make sure that you check out Cygames' official social channels as well. Oh yeah, and that giveaway for the special edition of the base game for Steam? I mean, the Endless Ragnarok expansion is not out yet at the time of this recording, so I can't exactly give away a game that isn't out yet, but I can give away the base game. So here goes. And remember, this is for my subscribers only, so be sure to sub to enter, and then just tell me what you're excited about the most in this Endless Ragnarok expansion. It could be the new characters, the crossplay, the new storyline, or just kind of getting to revisit the world. Just let me know in the comments, and be sure to sub so that your entry does count, and have a good day.